Hey everyone, here we are, the race briefing for the 2026 running, the inaugural running of Bay Area 100. I'm going to take it kind of just a second here to hem and haw because I know that people are going to come filtering in over the next minute or so, and I want to be able to admit them. For those of you out on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you are on YouTube, I'll look for your questions after the session and do my best to answer them. And the same goes for all you guys here on the call tonight. I will try to answer all your questions. It would be best, given the volume of stuff we have to talk about, if you could leave them till the end. But if you absolutely can't resist, by all means, put them in the chat and I'll try to answer it on the spot in the moment, insofar as I'm able. I'm just seeing people coming in. I, as we get ready for this first running of Bay Area 100, as we go through the training camps, as I talk to different people, as I answer the emails, I'm always humbled because there's so many people running the race this year that I've basically known their entire ultra running career. Their first ultra was Skyline, or maybe their second, and I've watched them, many of you evolve over the years of your ultra running, and now this is this big opportunity for you to run a 100-mile race. And I'm humbled that you're able to do it here where we all live on a course that you're familiar with, um, with with me basically, and with my team. I'm blessed with such a fantastic team for Bay Area 100. So people like Chris Thoburn and Michael Lee and Nick Moore, who you may not have met, Todd Glyden, who you know well, Mark Hauber, all these people that you've known and come to love through your experiences in the East Bay. I am glad to have them on my team, and it's been a great year working on this project. It's been a great 5 years. It's taken about 5 years for us to get to this point. Some of you ask, I'm just going to kind of tell stories like this as everybody's showing up. Some of you ask, how it came to how it came to pass, how long it took, and it took 4 or 5 years, and a number of proposals to the East Bay Regional Parks to get to this point, which is an exciting point. Tomorrow I go out. I'm going to go all around the parks and I put up our public notices telling everybody that we're going to be there. I staple things to fences. I put stakes in the ground, and that really is for me in doing this. It's a big part of the experience because then you really know that it's happening when you put out the notices. People walk up to you and say, what is this at Skyline Gate? What is it you're doing? And then I get to tell them all about the Bay Area 100, and about you and about the day that you're going to have. So I'm going to try to let folks in as they come, but I'm going to get into the briefing. And what I'm going to talk about first is kind of what to expect. I think we've done a lot of sessions on how to get ready. I know that we've got a mixed group of people here. We've got volunteers and crew members and pacers. And so I'm going to talk more about like what should you expect with Bay Area 100, and like what's the next week and a half going to be like, and what are the little things and big things you can do. And I think if you're an athlete, one of the things that I'm going to really work to do is to put your mind at ease, because I think that your mindset, your ability to think ahead and visualize yourself at the starting line, visualize yourself at the finish, visualize yourself hiking up through Las Trampas. All those things are going to be instrumental to your success. So my hope is that tonight is a moment where you begin to bring focus to the next 10 days and what it is to expect and how to get ready, to kind of I don't know, not grip too tightly the things that you need to do to succeed. Many of you are coming from out of the region. So for those of you that are not from Northern California or the Bay Area, I hope that you have made your travel plans. I hope you've made your accommodations. I hope that you've found friends to stay with. If you haven't, this is a really good time to get all that kind of done. Some of you are going to begin to, like with your crew, begin to wonder, like, oh my goodness, do we have a cooler? Do we have, which cars are we going to take? Who's going to ride in what cars? I get a lot of emails from you all, so I know a lot of you are planning, but this is a really good time to begin to get into that. Just, to put it forward, there are at least by the start finish there, by the finish there are two supermarkets that you can get at to get ice if if you need ice in addition to all the ice we're going to have for you, snacks, things like that. There's a lot of support. One of the beauties to the Bay Area 100 is um, you know, we're unique in that we're so urban adjacent. It's going to be very easy for you to find a cooler and snacks and comfort. So preparing will be that much easier. You won't have to remember everything under the sun. You can get it all more or less here. Um, one thing to expect is that you're coming to a place that's very hospitable to the race that you're about to run. Logistics are really the big challenge. Your crew is going to have a chance to see you a lot. A lot of this is in the pace chart. If you haven't looked at it yet, it's on our website. I'm going to begin to share some of this stuff so that you can kind of see where it is. So for those of you who have not been to the Bay Area 100 website, what a great time to visit it and see all the things that are there. I know that most of you have. This is where you're going to find things like the athlete guide, um, and where you'll find things like the pace chart, and you'll find different versions of the GPX. So as you're planning and learning what to expect, the website has a lot of these resources on it. If you haven't gone there yet, it's a great place to go. On the pace chart, this really gets into your days. So before we get here, I want to talk about like what the next week is. We've got 2 days of bib pickup in at Sports Basement in the Athlete Village at Sports Basement. That schedule is in the athlete guide. Um, so open up the athlete guide and look at this. It's funny. I was looking at this the other day. I was like, oh, this is all really true. So, you can pick up your bib from 11 to 4 on Thursday or Friday. That's important to know. We do require you to get your bib before you race. We do not intend to do race day bid pickup. It's just too early, and getting in front of UC Berkeley is too much of a trek to bus put enough of a footprint down. We really need you to come early, and there are more reasons to come early. One thing that you will see again in the pace chart that you should start getting ready now is gear bags. All the places that you can have gear bags. You plausibly could show up with one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 gear bags on top of anything that you want to send to the start finish. So coming up with your gear bag strategy now is a good idea. Again, like this weekend, this is the last big shopping weekend before the race. That's why I like to do this briefing now. Think about the stuff that you might want in every one of those bags and go out and get your shopping done. To the bid pickup, Thursday, Friday, 11 to 4, and then we've got presentations and athlete forum and probably another briefing like this, more directed towards your crew, in the later afternoon. Um, how do I have this set up here? Around 3 o'clock on Friday, we get an athlete panel. 4 o'clock, we have welcome gathering. So, there will be, if you miss the 11 to 4, we're going to be there for a while, 5 or 6 o'clock. So, if you're late, you're still going to be fine. We'll still be able to take care of you. You are going to want to come with your drop bags to that. So again, preparing now for that. You can find your bib number if you want to see. It's all up on Ultra Sign Up. If you go under entrance, you can see that your bib numbers are here. So you prepare, well, I'll get into gear bag setup here in a little bit, but if you are beginning to kind of meditate on your race and get your numbers done with a numerologist, here's your bib number for you to get your luck read. Um, Again, this is at Ultra Sign Up. I'll send this as a follow-up. Back to race week. We've got you Thursday, Friday. On Friday at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a pregame show for the live stream. So we're going to be broadcasting live all of Andy Jones Wilkins, Victor Ballesteros, Verity Breen, Bree Lambert are all part of the team, and they're going to be for an hour talking live on the YouTube about the race and giving your crew and your family a little taste of what the live coverage is going to be. The live stream is exactly in the place that you're going to see it tonight in our YouTube channel, and that will all be out there for you to share with with your family. They'll also be able to follow you as you're telling people what to expect now. They're also going to be able to follow you with a live stream of the results. So there are a number of the aid stations where we track you. And so they'll be able to see your number as you go through the aid stations. Not every aid station, but all the aid stations with gear bags will have a feed, and they'll be able to track you as you come and go through those aid stations as well. You'll have links to that. That'll also be on the Bay Area 100 website for you to get to easily, for your team to get through easily. Again, so Thursday, Friday, we are gathering, we are talking, we are all getting ready, we are exhaling. This weekend, we are shopping and getting our gear bags ready. We are gathering our crew and making sure everybody's got all of their plans ready. All that kind of planning you should be working on now. I do know that from some frantic emails I've gotten from some of you that you don't have pacers yet. There's still time to do that. There's probably time to find pacers, I bet, all the way up till the 2 days of the athlete village. And I've known people to get pacers in the event. People just come into an aid station and somebody's there and they just jump in with you. So don't panic if you don't have those things. It's not too late. You can find those folks and you can run that race and have that level of support. One thing I would say, going back to the pace chart and the planning and the ever planning and the buying and the shopping and the gear bag making, is try to visualize the time of day, where you're going to be, and when you're going to be there, according to the pace chart that you think that you're on. So, for example, many of you are going to come into Las Trampas, and many of you are going to have it get dark in that trail between Las Trampas and Chabot staging. Make sure that you have your headlamp there at Las Trampas. So try to visualize your plan in that kind of way. When am I going to need a headlamp? Maybe you should run with it from Rancho Laguna if you're at the back, not because you might need it before you get there at 7 o'clock, but just luck favors the prepared. Likewise, if you think that you're going to, get to darkness at Lake Chabot or Chabot staging, kind of think about what you might need, what time of day it might be, and then along with that, what the weather might be like. So, I mean, these are obvious statements for your gear bag, but it is trending towards being warm, kind of in the afternoon out Rancho Laguna way, Las Trampas and everything. So plan accordingly for that. It's also supposed to be cold. The start, it's supposed to be 50 degrees at the start, which means a lot of you are going to want to start with sleeves on or tops. So, have a plan that is flexible for that. Plan to wear things where you might start with a shell on or something that's warm, and then expect that by the time it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, it's actually going to be pretty warm even over on the Berkeley side of the hills. Try to go through the pace chart, imagine where you are, and then build your plan back from that. Even with your gear bag, you don't necessarily want or need to have the same thing in every bag based on where you think you're going to be in particular times of the day. So that little piece of advice, but again, planning ahead, thinking about where you're going to be at a particular time. I'm going to go now, and I'm going to bring us into the day itself. Hold on a second. Yes, and it will get cold overnight, as Chris has said in the chat. So you're going to plan for both ends. Think, if you're going to get into Lake Chabot and it's going to be cold, you might want to be carrying like a little, you might want to be carrying a top. I'm going to just begin to show. I'm going to show the course. I'm not going to do like a really intense course overview. I feel like we've done a lot of that. It's really kind of discombobulating for me to do that to you because there's so much course to cover and it's hard for you to cover it all. I do recommend that you look again on the website. If you go to the link on the website to Strava or to an embed of the Strava, you can play like a little movie of it as it goes through things. But I'm going to show you, importantly, we're in the kind of Saturday morning. So I've gotten a note from a few of you. I said this in an email that I sent to you all the other day. A few of you have asked about parking at the start. Is there going to be parking that I can leave my car for 36 hours at the start? Is there going to be a shuttle from Skyline High to get here? I believe I do not think that you should leave a car here if at all possible. I would recommend that you go to the start or you get a ride to the start with your crew. And then for those of you coming from Skyline High because you need to leave a car because you don't have crew to give you a lift, as I've said, you can park in the neighborhood right adjacent to Skyline High. The neighborhood association's been a great partner to us. They're expecting you to come, but you should get there and you're going to have to Uber or get a ride from the start if you need to leave a car there. We're not providing a shuttle, but it's just as easy to hop in an Uber and get over there. Just make sure that you leave enough time. That's kind of it on the start. It is pretty quiet around the UC Berkeley campus right now. Ca- School is out of session. Where this pro turf field with the bear on it, that is on top of a parking structure. So there is parking immediately adjacent to where we are going to be. And where we are going to be is right here above the ticketing area for the football team. I think it's gate J. I might be mistaken, but we're going to be right in this area. You're going to see us because our lights will be on. For those of you that have a 3 o'clock start, we will be there before 3 o'clock to welcome you and send you off. So look for our lights. We will be there. I will be there personally, so look for me. And we will start you here at 3 o'clock. For those of you coming at 5, starting about 4, we'll be doing the live stream from here with our cast of characters, and we'll be waiting for you. Maybe we'll interview a couple of you, and we will start here. It's really quite. Let's see if I can get like a really, it's um, going to be a really cool place to be starting a 100-mile race, I think. So we're going to start here. We're going to start you here, and you're going to go along the face of the stadium, and you're going to head out along the road and up to the fire trail. It's just a short little run there. There will be people leading you, us people cheering, and you're on your way onto the fire trail. Um, Marking at this point, everyone always kind of wants to know about the marking, what the marking is going to be like. It is going to be amazingly well marked. We've got a great marking team. We're lucky enough to have adopted the crew that has been marking Western States up until this year. They've retired specifically to do this course with us. The marking is pin flags in the ground, pink. You'll recognize them because they have got our brand on them, and a QR code. No need to stop to scan the QR code. It goes to our website. And so everything's branded. There are directional signs, lots of them. Our model is to try to mark every 250 feet. So you should see a lot of confidence ribbons, a lot of confidence ribbon throughout the course. And then obviously if there are turns, there's more frequent marking than that. Marking is not going to be a challenge. We've got a real pro team and a lot of redundancy and have had a lot of philosophical debates about what the proper marking is going to be. So I stand on the shoulder of giants with the marking. It's going to be exquisite. We also have great course marshals. We've got 70 course marshals committed to guiding you through sections of the course. So here at the very beginning, which is going to be really epic, you will have course marshals and you will be on the uh, the climb that folks know the most, Stonewall. So if you look at all of our pictures, you see our team running up. The background of this is going to be a little bit like our escarpment for Western States. For those of you that have crew that are interested, they can actually get to this point right here. They can drive up, they should leave a little bit of time. They can park down here, they can walk right up, and it would be really quite a scene to have a whole lot of your crew standing at the top of Stonewall welcoming you on your way to the next 99 miles of your race. So, might want to put that in there as a possibility. We certainly will have some of our team up there taking live stream coverage of you all. But that's a little, if you know, and they're certainly welcome up there to cheer you on as you start your journey. The first part of the race, again, I try not to go through each step, but I'm going to go through kind of the regions. You're going to go along the Strawberry Trail. This is all Strawberry Canyon Trail, the Jordan Trail. It's nice and flat all through the beginning. You get to Grizzly Peak, which is your first aid station. We're going to have a lot of our folks from sports basement there, and they're looking forward to greeting you. And it's about 4 miles in. You may or may not want anything, but it's there if you want it. All the aid stations are well stocked. So again, to that question about what can I expect, many of you have run with us before. Many of you, these are pretty OG stocked aid stations where you can expect um, Scratch is our sports drink. Goo is our nutrition partner. You can also expect water, soda pop, chips, potatoes, fruit, a lot of different kinds of fruit, bananas, melon, watermelon, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, usually sweet things, usually hard candies. And from the very get-go, you're going to kind of see stuff like that. So it is really common now for people to carry a lot of to have really well-developed nutrition strategies. And God bless you for doing that. But if you're just relying on aid stations, we're there for you, and you're going to have a lot of great support. Yeah, all of our aid stations, I'm kind of in awe of the job that Chris has done really in recruiting the aid stations. We have 20 aid stations. Almost every aid station is led by a great group, you know. So I mean, the bandits obviously with Chris are in Bort Meadow. Badass Front Run with Sports Spaceman is the first one. The Nomadic Adventure group is at Inspiration. SFRC is at Wildcat. It goes on and on. I'm not going to do a roll call now. I'll do that later when we get into the thank yous. You now are going to be going through the section of the race that I refer to as kind of the bay view. So when you get up into this next part of the course, this big loop, you're going to have really striking views of the bay and of the community of Marin. You can wave at SFRC over there and at Victor Ballesteros' house. And then at the same time, you're going to be able to see all the way around here to Benicia, all the way out to Mount Diablo, all the way out there. You're going to be able to have one of these 360 views where you can also look all the way back. And if you're so inclined, see all the way down to San Jose. It's really striking up here. You're going to love it. It is good. Again, it's still going to be cool. You're going to go up. You're going to come down through Inspiration. You're going to go out to Wildcat. These are very runnable miles in through here. All the way out to Wildcat is not down. So you're going to have a really great runnable time through here. And then you're going to come out of the first aid station. This is your first crew point. So you can have crew here. I would say one thing as you're thinking about your crew plans, you should probably go through and do drive times between all of these different places. The one thing about Wildcat, it is your first crew point. It's super exciting to be there. It is also at a relatively remote. Wildcat and Las Trampas are the longest drive times. Let me just put it that way. You know, it can take 20, 30 minutes to get out to Wildcat and then to get to the next spot. So plenty of time for someone to support you at Wildcat and drive to the next place that they can support you. But if you've got crew, you might want to look at if you've got more than one crew, you might want to look at like who's going here, who's staging somewhere else, things like that. Do try to look at the directions and do the drive. Make sure your crew does the drive time. You're going to come back up to the peak and then have a really long nut uphill to back up to the top of Bayview. You're on Seaview Trail now. You're down to steam trains, and you're running in this section. You know, it's still going to be cool. It will starting to get warmer. Often it's cool here all year round. Berkeley's supposed to get up into, as of today, as high as 80, so you might be getting into the 70s and things like that. At this point, it will start to get warm. These sections are all runnable. You go out through Sibley. Again, look at where you can be getting gear bags. There's not a lot of crew in this middle section until you get out into Valley Vista. So if you can see here, let's see if I can get a nice turn. This this crest of hills separates the, the flatlands and the bay from from Contra Costa County and the Los Trampos land. Once you get over that hill, it gets quite a bit warmer. You don't have the benefit of the sea breeze, and it will start to heat up. You're going to get up. So as you begin to think about your plans for Valley Vista, Rancho Laguna, Los Trampas, through here, no matter when you're running, it's going to be warm through there. It's warm, and it's also, you're running up. If you look at the elevation profile. So we're in through here. You've got some really big climbs. When you're on those climbs, you're going to get thermals. You're going to see hot hawks. I would preach caution. Excuse me, patience and caution. Caution, I would say make sure that you're getting ice when you come through Rancho Laguna and Valley Vista before you head out into this section. If you've got something like this, which is like a nifty ice bandana, um, by all means, fill up that with ice, put ice in your pack. For those of you, just as an aside about cooling, if you haven't done a lot of running when it's hot, remember the back of your neck is really the thing that you want to cool off. That regulates your core temperature. So getting an ice bandana around your neck, cooling you off, that's the kind of thing you might pick up at Sports Basement, or before if you can get that on Amazon. This time of the year, they can become kind of precious to get to. I know that we have set aside. I know that Run Rabbit has put aside a number, 30 of these for us to distribute or to sell to people, basically at Sports Basement. So we're working on our end to make sure that you've got access to things to get you in the ice. Many of you have been out either in training camp into this section of the course, and I've referred to this to some of you. If you went out there as recently as like a week ago, the grass was really quite high. And East Bay Mud goes through actually and mows and regrades all of the trails this time of the year. So all of the fire trails that you're on will have been regraded they will have been regraded. So they're not going to be necessarily as rough as the thing that you may have seen at training camp. And then they go through and they mow. So a lot of the stuff that you went through, if you ran as recently as a week ago, may not have been mowed. This is what it looked like last weekend. So you can see that the mowing is pretty current. Our hope is that they're going to get as far over to Riley Ridge Aid Station as they possibly can. I think, are already through to Los Trampas. So our hope in this week, well, 2 weeks, is that they'll get all the way down to Riley Ridge. And wouldn't it be grand? And if it's not, we're still going to be going up through there with machetes and going through there to do our best to make sure that the way is clear. Our marking goes on during this week, and that is painstaking. And we will be spending time to make sure that if it has not been mowed, that it is as passable as possible. And it's really that section between Las Trampas down to Riley Ridge that I'm talking about here. Once you get to Riley, it becomes clear. Um, but you're going to have a great time through here. Again, what to prepare for? Prepare to be patient. There's a lot of climbing through here, be prepared to go slow. It might be warmer than you've experienced yet this season. And you're going to think, gosh, I wish I could be running faster, and just don't worry about it. Be patient and let the day come to you. That's always the thing. Take what the course gives you and let the day come to you. And when you descend down into Las Trampas, and descend you will, you go down, and you're going to see your crew in here. It's a great place to see crew. People are going to be excited to see you. As I've said, if you're here, cutoff is at 7:15 by pace chart, I think. Sure, Kajavi made a point to email me this evening as I was getting ready to point out that the cutoff says 7:15 and the pace chart says 7:18. And I'll tell you what, we're going to extend that cutoff to 7:18 to match the pace chart. I wouldn't worry about being cut off. If you're at 7:15 and it's 7:18, you're on your way. I have also told people if you arrive there between 6 and 7, you can be joined by a pacer. And the reason for that is your own safety. If you get there between 6 and 7, close to 7, you're likely to be out, in that EBMED section during darkness. And for your safety, we would like you to have a pacer if you opt to have one. If you don't, it's going to be fine. But do have a headlamp there waiting for you. and you're off on your way. And that will bring you back into the cooling section of the course as you come back through. Where are we here? We're way out, all the way out here. So to look at this again, you're going to come down in through here, and you can kind of see the hills. You're down in here, and you're going back. And as you get through Riley Ridge and out into Chabot staging area, we're expecting Chabot staging area to be just a little bit like our run into Forest Hill. You're going to come out of a remote part of the course, or maybe Michigan Bluff. You're going to come out of the remote part of the course. You will have been alone, and you're going to be ecstatic to see your whole crew waiting for you. People are going to be super excited to see you. And you're going to be glad to kind of be back into civilization. And that's where you're going to be for the duration of the race, really. You come through Chabot staging. A few of you have asked about this section here. It does run on the road here, very much like running through Forest Hill. There's just a very short section that has a narrow shoulder, but by it, almost all of that road has a shoulder that's greater than 10 to 13 feet wide. So you're gonna have a lot of space there. There are cars that come down. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be safe. And you're into what we refer to as the lake region of the course. So the last section we refer to as Los Trampas, and now we're in kind of the lake version of the course. And this next version, you're going to spend going through Lake Chabot and around Lake Chabot and off towards Port Meadow. So, okay, point of order here on Lake Chabot, and I referred to this in my email today. And I've referred to it, I talk about this in the athlete guide and in different places. So the thing that's unique about Bay Area 100 is we've got permission to run all night. It's the first time the East Bay Regional Parks have ever done anything like this. There's an ordinance, there's a law that makes it illegal to be in the parks after night, and we have gotten an exception to that law. So we are blessed. Congratulations. It's super cool that we can do this. And along with that comes some rule bending for them, which they've been an amazing partner. And the rule bending really kind of starts here at Lake Chabot. So normally Lake Chabot closes at 8, parking lot closes, and curfew is at 10 o'clock at night. For us, our aid station is going to be open there until the last runner comes through, which if by the pace chart is, let's see again, Lake Chabot Marina. Yeah, 12:20. So what happens there with that and what to expect with that? Um, and maybe let's even get a beautiful look of Lake Chabot so you can visualize this a little bit. Um, Lake Chabot has a great parking lot, and that parking lot is open till 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, you can drive out. They're not going to gate it. It's, you'll be able to drive out. If you come before 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock, your crew, they're going to park on the road here, and they can walk in to the aid station, which is going to be in an area called the Cove Picnic Area. And it'll be very noticeable to them because it's going to be lit, and there's going to be sound and everything, which there never is there. One thing to expect for your crew, I'm going to send you permits for them to put on their car saying that they're with the race if you expect them to be there after curfew. And the reason for that is that the neighbors who are in the neighboring community, that's why they call them neighbors, are not used to people being in the park, which means that they are likely going to call the East Bay Park Police every 5 minutes during the time that we're there. The police will know that we're supposed to be there, so that's not going to be a problem. But in talking to the parks, they're very concerned about people drifting in and out of the park, the fact that maybe people that we don't want are going to come drifting into our aid station just to see what's going on. So we're working with them to ensure two things. One, that the cars that are there, we roughly know that the cars are supposed to be there. They're not going to tow any car, but I'm going to send you a pass. I want your crew's cars to have a sign that says, they're with the race. There will probably also be a pass that we'll ask them to carry, and we'll probably put like just stickers on them at the aid station so that we know that the people that are with the race there to support you are supposed to be there. And they can come at any time. All these places, they can come at any time. Your crew can be there from 2 in the afternoon until 12:30 when you arrive. We'll have food. It's a nice place to be. There's a beautiful lawn. But those are the two things that would be helpful if you would advise your crew to have. And I'll follow up in writing on this, and you'll have stuff to print out and share. Um, I'm just going to take a quick second because I do see a couple of questions coming through. Oh, Chris, you are having a look at this. So, Chris, why don't you let me know just to say thank you very much for answering the questions, Chris. Um, this is going to be a super is incredibly going to be incredible. All these aid stations are going to be super fun. I mean, every aid station we have has some incredible plan to amuse you and amuse your friends and family, and to send you on your way with a sense of the epic. Run Riot Santa Cruz is going to be leading this aid station. The last aid station, Chabot Staging, is led by the Dusty Bottoms. Those two groups really know how to bring the cheer, so you're going to be excited to see them. These are going to be great aid stations. They're going to send you off into the night, and many of you are going to be in night mode at this point. Have a pacer from Chabot Staging, and you're going to be into night mode at this point. But those are the ground rules about being at Lake Chabot, just so you know what they are. Again, everyone's welcome. If they don't have a parking pass, that is not net going to be a big problem. But I do want, as insofar as we can, I want to know that people are supposed to be there. And then likewise, going into the aid station, if you don't have a little tag that says that you're supposed to be there, we'll say, hey, who are you? Who are you supporting? Put a little tag on you, just so that we know that everything there is good. That the parks have asked us to do that, and I think we want to do it as well. These places are really, when I talk about strangers coming in and everything, these places are legitimately remote, even though we're in the city. I mean, I often for Skyline and Fire Trails will sleep at the station to watch our gear, and it's could not be quieter in the middle of the night here. So, we're not gonna, it's totally safe and nice. Um, Off you are in your race, and you're gonna go around Lake Chabot, and you're going to go through. You're going to go through Clyde Woolridge Aid Station. You're going to go around, and from there, you're going to go down into, which is led by the Beer Bucket Run and Friends. Um, the San Leandro CrossFit team, I think, is going to be there, if my memory serves correct, as well as the Beer Bucket Run. Then this brings you to the Bort Meadow Aid Station. So this, again, we're going to talk about parking here for a second, but this is going to be a super fun place to be. And it's not, let me see if I can get a good view on it. There we go. So this is Bandit Town. This is where the Bay Bandits are going to be set up for you. Fort Meadow, as you know from looking at the plan, is important because you go through it 3 times. Um, Many of you will have people camping there. It's going to be a real scene. It will be lit up. It will be fun. If you haven't seen your crew, will likely have seen your crew already. You'll see your other crew. Lots of stuff, as I said in the email today, about parking here, camping here. There is still room to camp. As I said in my email, if you're camping, plan to camp. You've kind of if you are here camping and your runner is coming late, the gate generally is locked at 10. We will accommodate your getting in after 10. Likewise, if your runner comes through and is going towards the finish, it's supposed to be 10 to 5. We'll make sure that you get out. But it's kind of like a once in, once get out, once out rule with your car. Again, remember, people are great. Cars, are a drag. So if you've reserved camping, try to get them here before 10. If they can't get here before 10, that's fine. We'll take care of them. It's going to be a big open campground. There's lots of room for everybody. So it should be really electric in through this spot. If you're coming here and you're coming here camping, there's a market up at the top of Redwood Road. Skyline Community Market is a great place to get food, to bring down and cook or eat, show up with food. We're not going to have a lot of extra food for people. We're not planning to cook for people, except for the runners. So make sure that you hit one of those markets. There's a Safeway down the hill. All of that stuff is kind of nearby. So if you've forgotten it until now, you can get it. As I said in my message, we have allowed parking and access both for the upper lot, temporary, and the lower lot. So this is the lower lot parking that I've talked about right here. And up here is the staging area for the temporary parking. Now, the idea of the temporary parking is that it's really drop off, pick up, drop off. So, if you've got a crew of five and they want to get down to see you, the person who's bringing you should really drop you off. There's room for about 20 cars there. I believe, as I said, that even if everybody came and stayed for a while, there should be room for everybody just because the race gets so spread out and people are coming and going. But you should really make a plan that assumes that you can only be there for 20 or 30 minutes, that somebody is dropping your crew off, and that they're going to come back and pick them up. Um, if they don't, that's going to happen anyways because the parking lot will fill up and they'll only be able to drop off and pick up. So you should plan for that anyways. If you get in and there's plenty of room to park, then it's pretty much fine. But you should plan. It's about a third of a mile from here, the top, down to the aid station. So if people are coming to meet you, they're going to have to make this little walk down. So there's a single track here to the area. So like plan around all this stuff. The reason to have people coming and going is one of the best support sites, one of the best places to get pacers in the middle of the night is the next series of aid stations over at Science Center, which I'm going to show you in a second, which it has all kinds of space for people to get to you, and it's a great place to start your spacer. It's about 20 pacer. It's about 25 miles out. Um, so get your mind around that. If you signed up for temporary parking because you think that you can park there for 5 hours, please don't do that. If you do that, other people are going to have problems getting in and out. That's the reason for the difference between temporary and everything. I made it sound a lot more fun in my email, I think. But that's the reason for those distinctions. And as I said, we are not going to really get into the policing of cars. We know that you know how to behave. We would never DQ somebody because their crew parked there too long. We are not going to go up there and tow anybody or anything like that. But the more courteous you are with your plan, the better you make the time for everybody else. And we all know what that is like. So again, everyone's welcome down in the meadow. As many people, infinite people in the meadow, just finite cars, just the incoming and going of cars is an issue. Again, with the parks, this is an incredible privilege for us even to be doing this. The idea, normally the rule is if you have Chabot campground, people have to be there before 10 and they can't leave before 5. So all kinds of rule bending for us and the race. And we should be grateful to the East Bay Parks for letting us do this. The whole people parking in the top and walking down, just like Lake Chabot, that's something that they don't really go for. It's kind of a nightmare to them. The fact that we're doing it, they trust us to do this correctly. So please prove me right on this one. The aid station is going to be super, super fun. I'm not going to give away all the stuff that Chris Thoburn and the Bandits have planned, but except for to say Glofari. And if you're a parent, if you're at least if you're an East Bay parent, Anyways, don't want to give away too much. From here, you're going into Redwood. You're going up, kind of. There's a fair amount of climb, like gradual climb, 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 and you're going to get over to. It says McDonald's here, but the aid station is actually at a place called Big Bear. You will get here, no crew here. Your next big crew point is in Chabot Space and Science Centers, which I've just referred to as Science Center because there's so many Chabots to be referred to. Okay, so another one for just the prep side. None of this is going to matter to you because you're running, but your crew is going to care because this is another big access point for crew and for pacers, and it's pretty convenient. Board Meadow is really great, but it's a long, windy road to get to. Chabot Space Center is really easy to get to. It's got huge parking. Um, you can park in the parking structure, this is the thing right here, and then people can walk to where the aid station is going to be. The aid station is going to be here at the back of this parking lot. We do ask that if you drive up here and you try to get to it, you're going to be turned around and have to go back. There's a little parking here. This is a huge aid station, so you can easily walk down here. It's not a very long walk. And our friends at Inside Trail are going to be hosting you here with a great aid station that they too have an incredibly fun plan for that I'm not going to tell you about because you're running and I want to keep the surprises coming. Again, your crew is totally welcome here to park. They're welcome to come out with their beach chairs and just sit out there. There's a lot of room. It's a beautiful place to be. It's going to be a fun place to be. Middle of the night. Um, so this is gonna should be a really big aid station. This is a really big alt access point for those of you that don't want to get caught up in Bort Meadow and whether you can or cannot get down there. If your crew sees you for the last time at mile 75 and then not till the finish, you're going to be fine. There are plenty of ultra 100-mile races where that's the reality. So there. Um, you will go from here. For those of us who are local, you're going to get to run down through the stream trail. These are all trails that, again, I mean, I think first runner gets here at around 6 o'clock at night. Last runner gets here about 6 in the morning. You're running all through this period of time that nobody ever gets to run down through Redwood Regional Park. So it should be magical and fun and neat. You run down through the canopy on the stream trail and back to McDonald and then back to our good friends at Fort Meadow out towards Marciel. This is a long rolling trail. And at this point, how best to describe this? Somebody was asking me about like, one thing that I get excited about the race. So there's a thing when you're like at these big races, like the one thing that always sends chills of excitement up my spine is, you'll be in these places in the park and you'll see like tiny little tiny little headlamps way off in the distance, like coming down a watershed. And then they come and they get bigger, bigger, and bigger, and then they get to you, and then they go off and they get like tiny as they go up into the hills. And this section through here is going to be our version of that, I think. I think it's going to be really magical having you all out here in the middle of the night. We've set it up that you're not really doubling back on each other. These are kind of loops and lollipops, but you will see the headlamps, and it should be really beautiful. And even magical in the middle of the night. Many of you will come, and this will be your second day. And it will all be, reviewed. And these are kind of wide trails, wide fire trails to run down. So your footing will be sure. And you're going to get out to Marciel. So I have had a few questions about Marciel. There is the Anthony Chabot campground here. For those of you that have oversized trailers or a crew with oversized trailers, they may still be able to get campsites at Anthony Chabot. The gate to Anthony Chabot closes at 10. This is like a no, not a place where the rules are being bent for us. So you can't have crew at Marciel, and the gates will be totally locked. That said, it might be that somebody could be camping and they can walk up from the campground. But this will be, you're going to come out, there's going to be a lollipop you do here. You're going to come back to Marciel, and then from Marciel, you're on the way home. Basically, you're going to come largely not back exactly the way that you came, but you're on your way back to Bort Meadow on Redtail Trail. You're going to get to Bort for that one last time, and then you're up and up onto Skyline Boulevard. You're going to go through the stables. This section, again, to the seeing the headlamps and the magic of it, there is a trail, which you can see right here, that actually runs right down the middle of Skyline Boulevard. And that's the trail you're going to be on with your crew. We'll help you across the road, you and your pacer, you with your children, you with whoever wants to be running with you from Lake Chabot. It's totally fine. It's fine for them to meet with you and join you here. You're going to have about a mile and a half where you can run with as many people as you want on this single track. It is single track, so you can't get really wide to it. Do stay on the single track. Don't get off into the road. There still are cars that drive. The roads are open. So for your safety, please do not run on the shoulder of the road. Follow our marking and stay on the trail in the middle of the road. And you're going to have a magical march. You can see how the trail comes through here, all the way to around and down by the neighborhoods, by the cheering community members. And then you're going to end up here on the track at Skyline High, where I'm going to greet you. You're going to receive a finisher's medal. You're going to receive your buckles. You're going to receive your family. If they haven't run with you to this point, I encourage them to come run with you on the track. It'll be a time to remember. We will get finish line photos for you. We also will get portraits of you at bib pickup. I forgot to mention that. Ben Perez is going to be our photographer, our portrait photographer. So we'll get plenty of photos of you all throughout the course. And then here at the end, we will have food for you. And we will greet everybody. The award ceremony, we're going to try to do this where we present the buckles at the end of the event. So at 2 o'clock. If you can't wait, we will give you your buckle if you feel if you're tired and you need to go sleep. But we're going to do kind of an awards presentation at the end at 2. And we will be there all night waiting for you. And that would bring us to the end of your race and your successful completion of the Bay Area 100. So let's see. I'm going to go. I think, Chris, you've been getting the.
It's probably worth repeating a few of them.
Okay. Do you want to, Chris, you want to call out the. So, Chris, what have you seen in these questions that you'll, so I don't spend the whole time breathing loudly looking
First
at?
one, it seems like we still have a mistake despite our meticulous checking and rechecking in the athlete guide, and Cladwell Ridge is in the pace chart listed as a cruise station. It is not.
Yeah, look,
Uh,
Clyde, my apologies there. Clydesdale Ridge is not a cruise station. And the reason for that is it's immediately adjacent to the community and would create too much community impact. So my apologies to that. We will correct that.
People are noticing what we have been struggling with ourselves for many months that we've been planning these aid stations, which is a lot of things are called Chabot. Uh,
Yes. Hence,
so
that's why we always refer to Science Center as Science Center, not Chabot Space and Science Center.
so Chabot staging is the EV Mud one. Coming out of the wilderness from Trumpus. The marina is the lake. So we'll say the lake, or we'll say the marina for that one, and Space and Science Center for the third one. But yes, there's three Chabots. The
What
parks
you
are
gonna
not
do?
it. What are
What
we
you
gonna
gonna do? We've tried to drop the Chabots where we could for exactly that reason. So our apologies. Blame Chabot himself
Yeah.
for all of that. What else do we have?
I think there was someone asking just that's about cell reception at Bort. There is none. We will have Starlinks, including at Bort, at the places that don't have reception. So there will be some Wi-Fi. It does mean that if you're looking for a timing update on your runner, you would be able to ask, and we will be able to get that for you.
Yeah, and the live there will be live results coming from there, and then there will, for those of you that are have crew coming and going, you're probably going to want to time stamp it a little bit. Come back at 9 o'clock, come back at 1 o'clock. They may or may not have. Normally, it's a complete dead zone, but we will have connectivity there for the things that we're doing. And light, we'll have connectivity and light cell. If we end up with 200 people there hitting all of the networks, then we won't. It won't. It'll overwhelm it.
There was a question about hot food. Yes, there's hot food at all the stations. No, there is not currently a plan on having vegan options, but that is something I'm happy to work out with some folks. So just feel free to send Adam or me an email about it. I think putting some vegan broth options at least, if not some more, at Port Meadows is something I'd be very happy to do. You go
Or
through there 3 times. It's easy. The last question that I come back to is the any creek crossing for Los Trampas. Yes, yes, there is. I was hopeful that Adam would point it out as he was going through the course. After you leave Rancho Laguna, you're going to kind of go up a ridge and down a ridge, and you're going to be on a fire trail for like half a second, and then you're going to get back on a single track. Right after you get on that single track, there is a creek crossing. Now it's going to be dry this year. It's already pretty much dry right now, but I want you to know about it. We're hoping to have somebody out there at it. You're going to be on tired legs, and it's a significant drop to get into the creek and clamber out the other side. And it kind of sneaks up on you. So just be careful out there a little bit. At a minimum, I'm going to have a nice sign for you to let you know you're about to hit that drop.
we've had runners going through this, and it's fine. We had runners going through it just even last weekend. So lots of runners in through this section, but no water crossing there.
I think that that's pretty much the summary. I'm excited for everybody to experience this race. I'm excited for his first year. I mean, I'm sure we're going to. I also just think that as far as first year events go, people are going to be really surprised with just how much we put into this. It's going to be a very, very unique and amazing experience.
Yeah, just looking at a couple of these small questions. Yes, Sarah, there will be hot water at the aid stations. Martin, for scratch, there will be the just the regular sport is what we'll have there. There probably will be Scratch's aid station is going to be at Port Meadows, so the Scratch folks might be there with high carb. I think the intent was that they would be there for much of the evening at high carb, with high carb. Lisa,
We're
the
gonna have
question about is the last mile and a half the only time you can run with more than one pacer? Yes. So when we talk about pacers, the assumption is that you're always running with one pacer, swapping out your pacers. But in that last section of the course, you can run with as many people as you like.
we have one question on pacer bib pickup and parking pass pickup, and I think that is best answered by you. I think that's all vendor village, but you would know better.
It's all vendor village. Pacer bid pickup is the one thing that we do kind of let people do day of, but the best thing is for you to pick up for your pacer and have that for them. We don't have a specific time or place for them to pick up on race day. But yeah, all of that happens in vendor village. I'm going to do a version of this again on Sunday. You're more than welcome to come. It probably will be the same. It may not be. Always, I get questions from people between now and then. We'll be obviously a few days closer, so we'll know the weather a little bit more clearly. You're welcome to come to as many of these as you like. And I'll do a version of the briefing also on race day in the athlete village, though it'll be like a little bit, kind of over the top. It's kind of the day before. And we will, yes, George, have pre-printed parking passes from people from out of town and things of that nature to hand out. All that stuff will be in Vendor Village, all the more reason to come, and we'll be prepared for you. So thank you so much for being here tonight, guys. I can't wait to see you, and maybe I'll see you Sunday, and if not, I'll see you in the Vendor Village. Thank you very much. Have a good night.